Friday, February 2025. It took me some time to feel ready to ask for messages about this month. I'm not entirely sure why. And I also know that I'm not going to do all the 13 signs in this video, more so focus on the collective messages, asking the cards and see whatever comes up. Everything feels so one step at a time because every step feels so condensed with so much energy of transformation and changes. It's almost like, like the movie Revolving Doors, where every choice you make leads to a different timeline, a different dimension that plays out for you, and it's infinite. So you take that, and the energy that I'm feeling is if you take that and put it on steroids and double it by 1,000 or something like that, where every little step you make has a profound meaning for your unfolding timeline. And from what I'm picking up, it's not something that you'd necessarily know cognitively, like you can analyze and are aware of. Maybe it's something that feels more energetically heavy, like you're being slower with everything, but you're not entirely sure why. And it's a combination of it's almost like you're becoming aware of the illusion of free choice and how broader forces are really, really, really invested right now in maneuvering the situation. So a lot of people are feeling exceptionally frustrated because they're used to maneuvering reality themselves. Many are used to maneuvering other people's reality, from a place of manipulation, choreographing, a level of what's the word? Not deceit is not exactly what I'm looking for. Puppeteering. So because free choice was such a big thing where there was no meddling in our actions, in humanity's actions, from the divine or from the ETs or from higher dimensions, whatever you want to call them, gods, God, free choice was the bottom line for a very long time. It wasn't like that in the past. Wasn't like that in the past. There was a lot of meddling and a lot of guidance, like a parent to a child. But then the child grew up, aka humanity, and we were given complete free roaming. And at this point, we've reached a point where we're kind of back to, we've reached a certain point, a certain height in our consciousness and our expansion where we could guide ourselves towards, but now we've reached a stage where we're going to feel completely lost because it's a higher octave, and here we need guidance again. Okay, so it's like you learned how to trot a horse, you were given free reins to do your trotting or walking, and no one was paying attention or looking at you. But now that you've reached a stage where you need to learn how to ride, right? How to run real fast. Now you need to be taught because it's a little bit different, right? So we're now back to not really having a lot of free choice and being very, very maneuvered by spirit. And it will go back to free choice at one point. I don't see it anytime soon because whatever we're growing into is really vast. Like Pluto in Aquarius, and now the North Node conjunct Neptune in the highest degree of Pisces. That is like, okay, so if you're not familiar, Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac sign. It symbolizes the divine, godliness, the ethereal, oneness consciousness where everything melts into oneness, where there are no boundaries, no separation. It's something that we're only now beginning to learn. And it is going to be controlled by parental divinity, if you want to call it that way. If I want to call it that way, parental divinity. And sorry, I started taking one course of communication with you guys, and then it kind of got to this. So I'm gonna roll with it. So hold on, let me process what's next. Okay, so I want to go back to something that I mentioned. What it means is people who have utilized free choice in order to play, take, control other people's free choice are now going to feel completely out of control, because more so than others, because they were so used to their tactics working and no one interfering and they would assign it with, well, the divine must approve, the cosmic Buddha, the God, the universe must approve because it's working out. It has been working, but now a lot of manipulations and choreography of certain individuals on at the expense of others is going to start becoming so messy. Hello, Colette Paula, welcome. It's going to become so messy and failed every single time, and the consequences of their actions, aka karma, are going to be coming so fast and so intense. It's almost like, let's say you gossip about someone and slander someone, the next day you completely lose your ability to speak, or some things like that, like things that are very, very very clear. You don't have to overanalyze what's the meaning of this type of karmic resolve. It's not going to be like riddly, like it's not going to be amorphic. It's going to be very clear and very sharp and very strong. So people who do that are going to start, going, meeting a wall with day-to-day things that they're very used to be able to do and get away with and have it work for them. So because of that, especially if it has to do with people in positions of power, things are going to start crumbling, because if people who are in positions of power who do things like that, so the systems that they're in have been basically operating from that. The foundations were kind of corrupt, so everything that is built upon it is corrupt. So when those actions begin to fail, the system around it begins to fail and break down. So everything that you're seeing now breaking down, systems breaking down, organizations, leaderships, anything that is falling, it earned it, right? Not necessarily in a good way, but like it had it coming. So, whatever your political affiliation is, put that aside and just see, try to be objective and look at the organizations and institutions and groups, leaderships, whatever the case, that are being collapsed now or losing their power. That there was abuse of power. So in that respect, it's really great. Okay, not so good for any little tyrants, in the words of Carlos Castaneda, but not so good for anyone who would abuse their positions. And it doesn't have to be like a world leader, although of course it could. It can be into little things. It could be like the office secretary who's responsible for ordering the snacks and purposefully never orders anything vegan or vegetarian because the employee who's vegan vegetarian, she dislikes, so that's her little way of like, but she abuses her power and her position and her authority to do something like that. So it sounds like very small and very meaningless, and what's the big, but so just to show that this doesn't just apply to like big things as well, of course, but not just. It's going you're going to see this across the board in everything. So anyone, which is I'm assuming most of my seekers, that has been on the receiving end of behavior like that, or if you were enacting it and now you're aware of it so you can change your ways, and that's good too. Forewarned, forearmed, right? But anyone who's been on the receiving end of things like that mostly, things are going to start feeling better. Start feeling better. Not so fast, because things around all of us are crumbling. So, like, if you've been apart, if you've been a naive, unassuming, part of something and your experience was fine, but that's something you didn't know that there was corruption going on there or some mishandling, that will start crumbling. And you'll be like, oh, why is this thing that I love and I'm a part of is crumbling? Because you so happen to not have been on the receiving side, or aware of what was going on. Hi, Maria, welcome. Exactly, I sit in the company I work in. Yeah, this is going to be wow, and it's just the beginning, guys. February, especially in March. In March, February is where the bricks fall down. March is when they melt into themselves, or and back to the soil, and something else is going to be made room to grow. Good morning, Patrick. So it's going to be really intense, and everyone is feeling like they're having a hard time deciding what the next step is. Now, when you have a hard time deciding what the next step is, it's okay. Practice breathing, wait and see. But in situations where your heart is very, very clear on something and you know exactly what to do, you've reached a level of like no going back, you just know for certainty, then yes, absolutely go and enact that. We are really, really guided right now to act in ways that are beneficial for our highest trajectory. For some of us, it will work well and we'll feel good about it. For some of us, it will be a nightmare, because if we were really not on the path, or really like kind of sidetracked, or whatever the case may be, whether we've been sidetracked by the outside or by our own actions, doesn't matter. There's a lot of course correction, a lot. Jupiter has been retrograding in Gemini up until today. When I'm recording this, Jupiter is moving direct, has been really exposing hypocrisy and duality, right? The shadow side of Gemini is hypocrisy and duality, and playing both fields, kind of thing, and but seeming super naive and innocent to both sides. So wherever that had played out, Jupiter retrograding in Gemini has been really bringing it up to the surface. And now that it's moving direct, things are going to start happening in accordance, like being course corrected. Because it ties into individuals or groups or leaderships or anything you can imagine that have been abusing their power. Now, something might blow up in your face that you weren't even aware that you were abusing your power with, because it seems so small and insignificant. But that's what Carlos Castaneda referred to with little tyrants. You don't have to be like a leader of a country and an actual dictator to be a little tyrant in your own life. This could be a parent in their own household and how they treat their spouse and children and pets. It's like, if you don't do as I say, you won't eat today. But it's not like they're starving them, but they're just making them something that they really hate eating. I don't know. It's like such silly examples that I'm giving. But I'm giving silly examples because it's important for me that you guys understand how it's going to play out literally in everything. If there has been a weed that has been taking over the garden and has been depriving and preventing other plants from growing properly, those weeds are going to be pulled out somehow, yanked. Like even to that degree of plants. It's in everything. It's in the soil, it's in the air, it's in the water, and it's in the fire. Now I want to circle back to what I've been saying about free choice. Colette Paula, controlling finances of those in care of elderly. Yeah. Oh, I have I know someone just like that. Actually, you just reminded me of there's an elderly woman that I know that her son is in under the caption or guise of taking care of her finances so she doesn't spend in a confused manner, but he's actually being very tyrannical and separating between her and people, and is abusing his power over her. So yeah, that's a very good example. No, but I'm saving her, I'm protecting her, da 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 da. But he's actually very controlling and almost thiefy, like maneuvers her finances to benefit and fit his will and his desire, based on his warped understanding of the world. So that's also a good example, yeah. But I had a string of thought that I was okay. Really weird stuff are going to start happening. Like it doesn't have to be just with people who control things. Like if you're just an unassuming, sweet person, minding your business and trying to do the next best thing for yourself. Let's say this things that you used to do that would work out. Okay, I decide that now I get up in the morning, I pack my bag, and I go to this town or drive to that state or fly to this place, whatever the case may be. And it used to be that even if that wasn't the best decision for you, and of course you're unaware, you don't know, you think you're doing the best thing for yourself, but even if it wasn't the best thing for you, well, it's your free choice and you're enacting you're enacting an action in the world. So you you manage to do that. You succeed in going to that place. Now it's going to literally be blocked by physical weird stuff. This has been an experience that I've been having in the past month. So you can take that literally as an example, but you can apply that to everything. Let's say you want to make a phone call to someone. It's actually better off if you don't speak to them at the moment. But it used to be that if you had called, you did the action, then the call would go through. But now something is going to happen. It's going to get messed up. Like it's becoming physical. It's becoming blunt. It's becoming clear. Now, it's important. An important caveat. I don't know if that's the right word. An important point to make on that is, don't take yourself to an uber passive place based on the things that I'm saying and be like, oh, okay, now Spirit is taking care of everything. No, you still have to do the actions, but you'll get an immediate response to whether or not it's right for you or not by how it works out and how it plays out. But if you don't do something that you're feeling guided to do or have an impulse or inspiration to do, you will never know, and it will just be sitting down. It's not like Pluto is going to bother and come and knock on your door, although who knows. But generally speaking, you want to go with the impulse, go with the inspiration, go with what you believe or know to be the best thing for you to do, and then see what the response is or how things, how things unfold. Yeah, so this is not a message or a confirmation to go completely passive. What else? Let's see what the cards have to say. How are you guys doing? How have you been? I do want to do an all signs for February, and if not, then for March. I do aim for that, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. I work based on inspiration. I can't force this into a schedule. I wish I could. My financial situation would have been a lot better. Oh, so let's utilize this opportunity for shameless plugs. If you want to study tarot, be sure to check out my tarot masterclass. It's now, you can get all of it for a very affordable price. And you can also purchase them separately, just the classes that you're interested in, over on Patreon. You can just, oh, I just want to know about the Star card. Oh, I just want to learn about the Two of Cups or the Three of Swords, whatever the case may be. And for just $3, you can get each class, and they're very in-depth. Or you can get all the 90 classes for $100, which is phenomenal. This is my masterpiece. I've done this a few years ago. It cost accordingly back then, but it's been a few years, and now it's time to make it, you know, affordable to all. Hello, Kelly. Welcome. Let's see what else. Oh, if you guys want to talk to me, you can book a session over the phone or over the video. Okay, you go to the existentialshift.as.me, as meaning as.me, and I will link it below. And you can book a phone session or a video consultation. Okay? But when it comes to the work that I do for the collective, it needs to be very guided and specific and timed. And I just feel when it's time. That's the most I can do. But when it comes to individual sessions, if you feel I'm ready, I want to talk, then I'm ready, and I'm here to talk to you. Okay? All right. Message from the cards for the collective for February 2025, please. If I missed anything. Okay. We have Knight of Swords. Things that are supposed to be on the move are going to start moving fast. If it feels really slow or has been very slow, the air energy and Mercury in Aquarius, Jupiter and Gemini now direct. Very strong air, movable, and mutable energy. So people are going to start snapping as well, because especially those who are feeling like out of control, if they were used to being in control. So it's really important you practice breathing and meditation, guys. If things don't work out the way you're used to them working out, if your tactics are not working the way you're used to them working. Eight of Pentacles. Focus on the next best step. What is the next one thing that I know I can do that is right? Don't use it as escapism. Don't be like, oh, I'm supposed to send this email, have that conversation, do that thing, but it scares me, so I'm just gonna do what my boss tells me to do because that's, or what's on my schedule to do because that's the easiest thing. I don't mean what's the easiest thing. I don't mean pick the lowest hanging fruit. I mean, what is the next best thing that you know you ought to do? Focus on that, and then the next, and then the next, but one thing at a time. Show me more, please, for February, for the collective. For my beautiful seekers, I missed you guys. I did a 13th element a couple weeks ago. If you missed that, then check it out. It's about collapsing timelines from other lives. The star, speaking of. So this is all very, I want to say guided because it sounds better, but it's actually divine parenting, parental divinity, where your oversoul, your higher self, is, Well, there's a bigger plan here to guide Earth to a specific frequency, to a specific frequency, to a specific direction, to hide humanity, to guide humanity to a specific direction. So our higher selves are kind of being in align with that, and start guiding us, our, you know, their expression on this plane, to act in accordingly, to act in accordance. It's gonna feel very fated, but it's also, it's kind of fate slash karma leading to, but they're actually guiding you to destiny, aka dharma. Okay. So it's not to punish or to hurt. It's just be like, no, child, you can't go there, lifting you up and putting you, it's I've been feeling like a rebel child for the past month. I've been trying to leave a place. Just gonna share this with you. I've been trying to physically leave a place. Not, I'm not in prison, don't worry, knock on wood. Except for maybe spirit is in quote unquote holding me. But and every time there has been something crazy literally physically preventing me from leaving. One time there were fires, and the next I suddenly became sick, and then the third time my car just dropped dead on the highway, and I'm fine. Everything is fine, but it's like that, you know, like every car, she had her issues, and I fixed them. But this was the first time that something like that has ever happened to me on the highway. Like I'm on my way away from somewhere towards somewhere else, and like the car just like, nope, you're not going anywhere. And then the fourth time I managed to drive an hour away from the place I've been in, and then I had to come back for important mail. Guys, I can't even, this has been the strangest. And I'm so happy that I made this video, because I mostly get messages when I start talking to others, when it's beneficial to others, and then I get to listen to my own messages in a way. You know, we all have our ways to receive guidance. My way to receive guidance is by opening up to give guidance, and then I also receive it. And so this video kind of helps me understand certain things as well on a personal level. But it's been so extreme and so crazy. If you have any similar experiences, please share with us in the comment section, so that we know we're not alone in this. But when I picked up the star card, you know, it's such a beautiful, pure love-based card, right? It's a card of healing, of purity, and of true love. Like, amazing. I also got really drawn to the stars, and I'm seeing like strings coming out from the points of the stars, and that are kind of connected to her body parts, and are kind of maneuvering her actions. So it's almost like spirit is like, okay, so far some people have been either abusing their power and their free choice, or getting themselves all confused and lost with their free choice. We now need to kind of control you, to take control, to guide you in the right direction. Now, if you feel like a guided child that is grateful for the parental guidance, great. If you feel like you're completely losing control and you want to rebel and you get upset, well, great. I understand either way. I'm not judging. Just keep in mind, you're not going to win this. This is stronger than us. It is. It is. We are a fraction of these powers. We are just a fraction of these powers. Show me more, please. Anything else? Ten of Swords. Some things, and strength. some things are going to leave your life. Um, Things that you have been holding on to for a very long time, that have been a status quo, that have been a given, an obvious, a this will never leave my life kind of thing, or this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life kind of thing. Things that were solid for you are just going to start melting down and like sand between your hands, and you're going to be like, what on earth is happening? And the best advice that I can give you is to be gracious with it, is to see the higher picture, to see the wisdom behind it, to let it kind of help you practice surrendering the walls, so that you can see beyond the walls, beyond the veils. We're getting a lot of glimpses into parallel realities slash other lifetimes that we're simultaneously living, and some of them are going to collapse into ours, or we're going to collapse into theirs, kind of. So if there's one timeline in which you do what you do, and there's another timeline in which a version of you does something else, it's going to kind of somehow get enmeshed, and it's going to feel very messy and unclear. It's kind of like what a caterpillar feels when they go into a cocoon to become a butterfly. It's not that they grow wings, they literally melt down into their molecular structure. They melt down into a puddle of molecules. It's painful, it's confusing, it's weird. The arm become the nose, which become the knee, which it's like, you're like, what? And then you're going to be reconstructed as something grander, and freer and more powerful, but the process is ew. Uh, and so just focus on breathing through it and understand that there's a broader reason to it that could make it easier. And practice self-care, give yourself your creature comfort whenever you are able to, assuming that they're not addictive or harmful to you. And be kind to people, be kind to yourself. It's gonna get challenging. There are going to be a lot of weird endings, but also a lot of interesting connections and unions. So it's going to be a very messy, divine shock factor. Did I say messy? Time frame. And I think this is going to apply for the year 2025, but I feel like February, March especially, like it's going to be April is already another reality. April is like we're starting something new and exciting, and we're starting to get a glimpse into what's next, so things are starting to get more clear. But until then, it's a very condensed, intense 2 months of a melting pot. Okay. Sorry if this wasn't like, I think it's exciting, although painful and frustrating, but is what it is. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, I'll see you guys real soon, okay? Check out, I've been here, so check out my profile, my channel to see all the by the sign tarot scopes that I've been doing, and new 13th element, some shorts. Check it out. I'll see you soon. Stay magic, stay true. I love you.